Welcome everyone, this is David B. Hepburn. So starting today, I'm going to review some recently released films titled Cinema Review. I hope you guys enjoy it. So with that being said, this is the Minecraft movie, titled A Minecraft Movie. That's out of the box, I like that. Let's begin. So Steve, he's always yearned for the mines ever since he was a child, but due to the age restrictions, he couldn't. So he had to, logically everyone grows up, but he had to become a doorknob salesman, even though that's boring, and he portrays this job as boring, which, it is boring. I can relate to that. Come on, that's just logic. That's not the best job. Like, pro wrestling, that's obviously the peak, but then he decides that to go back to the mines after he discovered, he's old enough, so he goes back to the mines and he discovers the Orb of Dominance and enters a place called the Overworld, which is, the world where everyone enters when, you play Minecraft. Everything is made of cubes. He has fun. He, makes that wolf friend that is in the marketing named Dennis, or Sinner, according to one of that publicity stuff. I think, yeah, for those of you who don't know, I think one of the publicity signs used the character's model backwards and it said Sinner. I don't know, but I saw that online once. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But so then he grows older, gains his signature white and black beard, and then accidentally discovers the Nether. Yeah, I'm going to do these quotes. Oh, I forgot one. Fit and steel. Yeah, I'm not going to forget about that one. But anyway, he enters the Nether and meets the Nagosha stuff, voiced by Grandma Tala herself, Rachel House. Anyway, she gets the orb, traps Steve, sends Dennis, to the real world, and that's where we get our film. Now, obviously, I know I didn't mention this before, but Steve is played by Jack Black, who was awarded the King of Comedy this year at the Kids' Choice Awards. To me, he deserves it. That's a fitting choice, right? But anyway, sometime later, we meet Garage, the Garbage Man, Garrison, played by Walmart Roman Reigns himself, Jason Momoa. Basically, this takes place in Chuglass, Ohio, which is known for potato chips because Idaho and stuff, so I guess why not? Who cares? This is one of those films where you don't need to think. You can just have fun without thinking. That's sort of the point, which is one of the reasons why I enjoyed this film, actually. We meet someone else. We meet two siblings with sadly deceased parents. So we meet Natalie, voiced by Enid Sinclair herself, Emma Myers. I'm sorry, not voiced, played by, my bad. And her little brother Henry, who is played by Sebastian Hansen, who does not have a Wikipedia page, so he's pretty new to the business. Anyway, they meet Dawn, who is played by that chick from Peacemaker, Danielle Brooks, yeah. She was also in The Bad Guys 2, I think, yeah. Who runs a mobile petting zoo, which, okay, that's fine. So then, hijinks ensue, jetpack failure, yeah, no one really cares, right? Who cares? I don't think anyone cares. But we do meet Vice Principal Marlene, voiced by the White Lotus's Jennifer Coolidge, who is also in the Emoji Movie, which was a garbage film. Anyway, hijinks ensue, and then, they enter the Overworld. I don't need to explain that part. They get more hijinks and stuff. The creepers come. We get that iconic scene where the garbage man punches the creepers and, it explodes. More hijinks ensue. Then we get Little Boo Thing by Paul Russell. Because Steve is here. I am Steve. Insert The Rock eyebrow meme thing. Anyway. So he gets released from the prison in the Nether by Magosha to get the orb and stuff. Even though something fishy is going to happen later. Everyone knows that. Anyway, throughout the film, you're going to see, Henry's very creative and stuff. That's sort of a main thing in this film. But the Earth Crystal is accidentally destroyed during this time. let's see there. So because of that, a replacement crystal will be needed from somewhere called the Woodland Mansion, which contains probably the best part of this film, which I'll say later. Alright. So they then go to this village market. We get a Technoblade tribute, which I thought was pretty nice. I mean, that guy did not deserve to die as young as he did. So it was great that they acknowledged him. Then we get the Steve Lava Chicken, oh yeah, Mamacita, yeah, we get that part. That was great. Then we go back to the Nether, and we're introduced to General Chungus, who is voiced by the film's director, Jared Hess. And as a voice actor, he does a good job, actually. I think Chungus is like the most underrated character in the whole film. So, oh, and speaking of characters, I forgot to mention, one of the villagers accidentally sneaks out of the real world, and he's found by the vice principal. They seek a romantic relationship, and yeah, there's that. There's not much to be said about that. Anyway, so Chungus and his guys, they invade the village. More hijinks ensue, and basically the gang gets gender split. All three men are on one group, and the rest, which are the ladies, are in the other group. Anyway, during this, Steve makes a deal with Garrett to, give him some crystals because of his video game business. And, it's not, I mean, okay. Obviously, that ends up with trouble. So, they actually go to the mine that contains these crystals, and there's more creepers. Then there's this giant pig monster, which was introduced earlier. And that monster actually killed General Chungus, so rest in peace. Anyway. After that, some more stuff happens. That's not really that interesting anyway. But, anyway, what is interesting... Oh, yeah, I forgot. There was one chase scene earlier that happened between that where, involved metal wings, come in hot or release, the whole panda stuff. That was fun. Anyway, then we get to... probably what's leading to the best scene of the film. Basically, there's this wooden mansion where the crystal orb is, and basically, in order to get it, you have to, go past the Enderman and stuff. So, Henry tries to seek it while the other two distract them. It backfires, and it leads to Steve being tied up in a wrestling ring, with Garrett the Garbage Man, Garrison, having to fight someone. Which brings us to the greatest moment in this film. The chicken jockey! God damn it, you guys were in a frenzy when that happened, and it was awesome. Too bad corporate editing ruined it early. I don't know, but I'll explain that later. Anyway, they get the crystal. Garrett sacrifices himself because Magosha was back, which sucked. We then get to, like a final battle and stuff, which it's just your generic final battle. It's not that important. And then, they go back to the real world, and this time Steve and Dennis come with them. Dennis is part of Dawn's little petting zoo thing, which I thought okay, I like that. And, let's see. And then we get a post-credit scene with Alex, and now the villager who's named Nitwit, I forgot to mention that earlier, his name was Nitwit, and he's now voiced by Matt Berry. I guess his love was so strong it altered his voice and stuff, which actually happened, You guys need to see that. Anyway, so yeah, that stuff. So, the Minecraft movie was probably the film I enjoyed seeing the most in theaters so far, and actually probably not the whole year. Avatar might overtake that, depending on what they do with that, but so far it's the Minecraft movie. But it's almost tied up with, Fantastic Four, which I will review also. So this film almost gained $8 billion, and it should have. The only problem was the corporate meddling, while positive, should have happened sooner. So all the theaters, they didn't like the chicken jockey stuff, so they had to end it early. But then weeks later, Warner Bros. Discovered that, and then they decided to make another version of the film where you can do that all you want and no one's going to get you in trouble. The problem with this is they should have done that sooner. I felt like it was too late. If they'd done it sooner enough, it would have broke $1 billion like it deserved, right? This was deserving of a $1 billion gross, just like Wicked was. And I don't know how Wicked didn't get $1 billion. It should have, but oh well. I don't know, but a Minecraft movie should have gained $1 billion. It had great marketing. I love the square Oreos, the square Doritos. The Oreos were featured in like 1 to 2 seconds of the film, but the Flint and meal from McDonald's was actually pretty good. I think it was for adults. The kids' meals were fine as well, but it should have broke $1 billion. That's the main thing. It should have broke $1 billion. I was devastated when I found out it didn't break $1 billion. According to Box Office Mojo, it left theaters after July 2nd, so it didn't reach July 4th. I mean, I don't think anyone cared about the film anymore. But anyway, it had a lot going for it. It was a great nostalgia film. It had a lot of great moments. The chicken jockey was iconic. I have to acknowledge that. I actually have a plush of that because of it. It was the Hallmark Better Together baby zombie and chicken plush. That's the closest thing we're going to get, I guess. But it works. It does the job well. The casting was fine. I didn't mind it. I think if I had to choose, I think the weakest character would have to be Natalie, but that's not like in a bad way. I mean, she at least tried, right? But it had some stuff going for it. They're making a sequel because Alex and stuff, but I'm pretty excited for the sequel already. I think I'm very curious of what's going to happen. But with that being said, that was a Minecraft movie. I thought it was a good movie. It's probably the second best film I've watched in theaters so far. I recommend you at least buy the DVD, maybe that little crafting table collector's DVD that I think was sold in Walmart, I think, but it doesn't matter. You should still get it anyway. But yeah, that was my review, and stay tuned for more cinema reviews, because I'm going to do these more often. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next review.